press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
In the last class we stopped at the water, its types, and then methods of softening the hard water, right? So in this class let us discuss the last compound of hydrogen, that is nothing but hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide, which is represented as H2O2. So this hydrogen peroxide is very important domestic as well as industrial compound. This hydrogen peroxide is important domestic and industrial compound. Domestic and industrial compound, right? That means to say it is having very wide application in both domestically as well as the industrially. So that we are going to discuss in the uses of this hydrogen peroxide. So with that, let us start the first concept here, that is methods of preparations. Methods of preparation, right? Under that, the first one is laboratory method. Okay, yes, we can prepare hydrogen peroxide in the laboratory in small amounts, right? So how that is? So there are so many methods again here. The first one is nothing but by acidifying barium aqueous barium peroxide followed by hydrolysis, here barium peroxide, by acidifying aqueous barium peroxide and removing excess of water by evaporation. Very simple process this is. So if you take barium peroxide, that is BaO2, and if it is hydrated, or you can say it is having water content, if it is treated with sulfuric acid, acidifying means react with the sulfuric acid, so it will lead to the formation of this Ba and SO4, BaSO4, then here O2 and this H2 combined together to form our major product H2O2, and then the excess of water content will be removed because it is subjected for evaporation also. So very simple process where the barium peroxide is acidified with water and then it is further heated to remove the excess of water present in that, right? So that is the first method for the preparation of what? Hydrogen peroxide, which is very important compound. Similarly, you are having one more simple method. So there what we are going to do? So here when for the same barium peroxide, say by passing carbon dioxide, by passing a current of carbon dioxide through cold pasty barium peroxide, right? Then also you are going to get the hydrogen peroxide. The reaction is like this. So barium peroxide plus carbon dioxide plus H2, because it is pasty, cold and pasty. Okay, so what you are going to get? You are going to get H2O2 with the formation of BaCO3. That is nothing but the barium carbonate. This is the one more method by which we can prepare our desired product, that is nothing but the hydrogen peroxide. How come? So by passing a current of carbon dioxide into the cold and pasty barium peroxide. So like that we are having one more method which is used for the preparation of this hydrogen peroxide. So that is nothing but, so by treating sodium peroxide with sulfuric acid. The third one, by treating sodium peroxide with sulfuric acid. Sodium peroxide with sulfuric acid, right? Yes, what is that process? So sodium peroxide when treated with sulfuric acid, so what it will form? It will form into sodium sulfate with the formation of hydrogen peroxide. So this is one more method of preparing what? The hydrogen peroxide. By reacting this sodium peroxide, this is Na2S, say Na2O2, right? Satisfied, Na2SO4, then H2O2, right? This is how you can prepare what? Hydrogen peroxide by reacting sodium peroxide with the sulfuric acid. So likewise, these are all the some of the what? Laboratory method used for the preparation of what? Hydrogen peroxide. So if you want this hydrogen peroxide in large quantities, so how to prepare that one? So they are nothing but the industrial methods, or you can say the commercial methods of preparing the hydrogen peroxide. Let us discuss one by one. They are very important here. So what we are discussing now? Second one, that is commercial methods. Commercial methods used for the preparation of this hydrogen peroxide. What are those commercial methods? The first one is nothing but by electrolysis of, the first one is by electrolysis of hydrogen sulfate. Hydrogen sulfate. Okay, that is bisulfate. Also you can say hydrolysis of hydrogen sulfate, or you can say bisulfate also. So that is electrolysis. So what is that electrolysis? And after doing electrolysis, that should be product form, should be subjected for further what? The hydrolysis. So let me write that one. When sulfuric acid, that is, you remember here, very important concept, this is 50% sulfuric acid, that is highly concentrated, because if you take dilute sulfuric acid, there is a different reaction. We are talking about the concentrated sulfuric acid. What is the percentage of that one? 50% sulfuric acid is electrolyzed. So bisulfate is obtained. Which upon hydrolysis yields hydrogen peroxide. So very simple reaction and very important reaction this is. So if you take this sulfuric acid, that is H2SO4, and if you subject this one for electrolysis, so in the presence of platinum electrodes, so it will form into 2H plus, sorry, it is not 2H plus, yes, plus 2HSO4 minus. Usually you know about the electrolysis of sulfuric acid, so it should form H plus SO4, right? 2H plus SO4 2 minus, right? But here what acid we are taking, it is not dilute, right? It is concentrated sulfuric acid. So the products will be, so H plus and then HSO4 minus, right? Not the H plus and SO4 2 minus. That is in case of dilute sulfuric acid. Now, so as it is electrolysis, so the oppositely charged ions will go to the opposite electrodes. So first, say for example, at cathode, what happens? So which ion will move? That is nothing but hydrogen. So by gaining 2 electrons, so it will convert it to the hydrogen gas. Hydrogen. Similarly, at anode, the bisulfite HSO4 minus loses its electron, results in the formation of H2S2O8 plus 2 electrons. So this is called as Marshall's acid. Remember this one, this is called as Marshall's acid, or you can also call this one as peroxido disulfuric acid or peroxido sulfate. It is also called as peroxido sulfate because of the presence of peroxo linkage in the structure of this one. So why it is called as so if you observe the structure of this one, so it will be OH, S, double bond O, here there will be O, and then S double bond O, S double bond O. So here it will be OH. This is H2, S2, OH. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? So peroxido disulfate it is. So why it is called as peroxido? Because of this linkage. This is O linkage is there, no? This is called as peroxo linkage, right? So this is this is also called as what? Marshall's acid. Remember, this is also called as Marshall's acid. So in the last step, when that Marshall's acid or peroxido sulfuric acid is subjected for what? Hydrolysis. So what the product you are going to get? Let me write here. So here you are going to get, that is last step, H2S2OH. When it is subjected for what? Hydrolysis reaction. Hydrolysis, let me write little bit shorter, H2S2OH. If it is subjected for hydrolysis, so it will form into H2SO4 plus H2O2. That is nothing but our desired product, that is hydrogen peroxide. So where it is formed? It is formed at the anode. So it is in case of concentrated sulfuric acid. It is in case of concentrated sulfuric acid, the products are the hydrogen peroxide. Products are hydrogen peroxide and hydrogen. But if you take dilute sulfuric acid, no, so you are going to get here 2H plus plus SO4 2 minus, right? So that will be converted into what? You can have that one, hydrogen and oxygen at opposite electrodes, hydrogen at the cathode and oxygen at the anode. Those are the products of electrolysis in case of dilute sulfuric acid, and these are the products that, if you use the concentrated sulfuric acid. So what is our desired product? That is nothing but the hydrogen peroxide. So this is how you can prepare the hydrogen peroxide by what? Electrolysis of hydrogen sulfate followed by what? Hydrolysis, right? So what are the reaction taking place? So that is sulfuric acid upon electrolysis yields H plus and HSO4 minus, that is bisulfate ion. H plus produces hydrogen gas, and then that bisulfate will be converted into peroxido sulfate, or you can say Marshall acid. So which upon hydrolysis yields the hydrogen peroxide. So very important method this is. So and I told, so if it is concentrated, the products is hydrogen and hydrogen peroxide. If it is dilute sulfuric acid, the products will be hydrogen and oxygen. That is very important concept, right? So sulfate is also there. OH minus ions will also be there. So out of OH minus and sulfate, which will be involved or liberated at the anode, that is oxygen, because of its high potential. Because of its high electrode potential, it will be liberated, right? So that we have discussed in the last class also, right? So here, this is how. Similarly, the same step we can use for the preparation of, that is heavy water also in the laboratory. That is heavy water compound D2O2. Heavy water compound D2O2. So how we can do that reaction? So that is nothing but you can have that reaction. That is a very simple reaction. That is if you write, if it is K2S2O8, if we are going to take its salt, we are going to take the salt of this water, Marshall acid, and if you subject it for hydrolysis using the heavy water, what are the compounds you are going to get? You are going to get 2D2SO4, because there are no hydrogen here, we have taken deuterium oxide plus D2O2. This is the laboratory method of preparing what? The peroxide of deuterium using the salt of this Marshall acid, right? This is one more extra information. We are discussing about the hydrogen peroxide. You concentrate on this reaction, but applied reaction is this one, where the salt of this Marshall acid, if it is subjected to hydrolysis using the heavy water, the product will be D2O2. Right. So likewise, we are having the one more important method used for the preparation of this what we call the hydrogen peroxide, again commercially only. So by using alkyl lanthraquinols. Alkyl lanthraquinols, that is the second method used for the preparation of this hydrogen peroxide. So what is that? So from the second method is nothing but from 2-alkyl anthraquinol, right? So here by a process called as auto-oxidation, it will undergo self-oxidation. No need to initiate the reaction, it will undergo auto-oxidation. So the reaction is, say, 2-alkyl anthraquinol. So when it is subjected for oxidation, that is in the presence of air, so reversible it is. So hydrogen, the presence of palladium, supported over palladium catalyst. So what you are going to get? Anthraquinol will be converted into alcohol, that is right, anthraquinone. 2-alkyl anthraquinone, which is the oxidized product. Along with that, there is a formation of hydrogen peroxide. Let me write the reaction. Example, I can take 2-alkyl lanthraquinol means we can have 2-ethyl lanthraquinol. So you know about anthracene, that is a 3-membered 3-benzene ring having compound. Here it is lanthraquinol, right? So if you take this one, it is 2-ethyl C2H5. Carbon atom number will be this one. So here we are having quinol OH, right? OH. This will be like this, right? So what is the name of this compound? 2-ethyl. It is ethyl group now, right? Ethyl anthraquinol. So if you subject for the oxidation reduction reaction, this is right. So forward reaction is oxidation, backward reaction is reduction reaction. So what the product you are going to get? So you are going to get oxidized product will be this one, plus H2O2. What do you call for this one? 2-ethyl anthraquinone. quinone. You can make a note of this one because not given in the textbook, right? So NCERT textbook, it is not given in the NCERT textbook. Very simple method which is used for the preparation of this hydrogen peroxide commercially in large scale. The best method used for the preparation of this hydrogen peroxide is this one, that is from 2-alkyl lanthraquinol. You can have 2-butyl lanthraquinol also. In case butyl means the butane is C4H10, butyl means C4H9 group. There is no change in the ring. Only the change you should do at this position, right? Quinol, it is alcoholic group that is converted into quinone, that is nothing but the ketone. So it is nothing but the oxidized product of this one, right? So forward reaction is oxidation and backward reaction is the reduction, addition of hydrogen, here addition of oxygen, right? So from this method, what the hydrogen peroxide obtained, it is just 1% pure. How much percent pure it is? 1% pure hydrogen peroxide you are going to get from this auto oxidation of 2-alkyl lanthraquinol. So what about the remaining 99%? That is the water that is contaminated, or you can say other impurities. So then what we can do, if you subject this 1% pure hydrogen peroxide for distillation under reduced pressure. Distillation under reduced pressure. So 85% pure what hydrogen peroxide is obtained. So which upon further freezing, if you freeze this one, so what you are going to get is nothing but the 100% hydrogen peroxide. At the end you are going to get 100% hydrogen peroxide. So here the concentration of this hydrogen peroxide is very important. So from this commercial method, that is nothing but auto oxidation of 2-alkyl lanthraquinol. So you are going to get what, 1% hydrogen peroxide which is subjected to distillation under reduced pressure. So then you are going to get the 85% of hydrogen peroxide, which upon freezing, how much percent hydrogen peroxide you are going to get, that is the 100% hydrogen peroxide can be obtained. So this is important here. So this is distillation under reduced pressure, right? Actually it is 30% first, that upon further distillation you are going to get the 85%, but if you write this much, that is enough, right? So and again, expressing the concentration of this hydrogen peroxide is a very important concept in this chapter. So that we are going to discuss at the end. So with that, let us move on to the structure of this hydrogen peroxide. If you look at the structure of hydrogen peroxide in the gaseous phase as well as the solid phase. So let me write here. So if you take hydrogen peroxide, so it will be a non-planar structure. Hydrogen peroxide is a non-planar structure. All the atoms which are present in case of this hydrogen are nothing but they are non-planar in nature. They are non-planar in nature. So that means to say, you can see that it is just like a open book. If you open a book, no, then like that structure it is having. Just if you are having a notebook, if you open the structure, no, the structure will be like this. So one half of the book will be at the top and the remaining half of the book will be at the bottom. So the hydrogen atom, one hydrogen will present on one half and another hydrogen will present on another half of the book, right? So and then this angle is there, no, if I writing this one as a gaseous phase, if it is a gaseous phase means this dihedral angle will be 1.5 degree. 111.5 degree, and then if you write this one 95.0 picometer, it is the length of this OH bond, and then if you go for this OO linkage, that is called as what? Peroxo linkage, because two oxygen are linked to one another. Peroxo linkage, that's why it is called as hydrogen peroxide. And if you go for this bond angle, it will be 94.8 degree, 94.8 degree. So this is in case of what? This is in case of the gaseous phase of hydrogen peroxide. So then if you move on to the solid phase of this hydrogen peroxide, that is also almost similar structure, but there is a little variation in the bond angle. it is 96.8 picometer, and then this will be 145.8 picometer, and this dihedral angle will be, in order to show the dihedral angle, we have to write this type of structure, that is the open book like structure. So this angle will be 90 point, this is very important, 90.2 degree, and then this angle is 101.9 degree, 101.9 degree. This is in case of what? Solid phase. This is another important concept, that is nothing but the structure of this hydrogen peroxide. What is that? So there is a difference in the dihedral angle. This is very important. If you open a book, know what structure you are going to get. So that is nothing but the structure of this hydrogen peroxide, where in case of gaseous phase, the bond angle is dihedral. What bond angle this is? Between the two hydrogen, dihedral angle, dihedral angle. In case of what? Solid phase, what it is? It is 1.5. In case of the, it is gaseous phase. In case of solid phase, so it will be less, should be less, because it is a solid. The molecules are closely packed, so the angle will be less. What is that? 90.2. This you have to remember. This is very important, right? Gaseous phase, and then the, what we can say, solid phase. In the both the phase, our hydrogen peroxide exists, right? So that is the structure of this hydrogen peroxide, and as I said, this is a non-planar structure. See, all the atoms are in different planes. So only these two oxygen, but one hydrogen is above the plane and another hydrogen is below the plane. So what we can say with reference to the structure, it is non-planar in nature. Hydrogen peroxide is having a non-planar structure which exists in both gaseous as well as the what? Solid phase. The dihedral angle in case of gaseous phase is 1.5, and then in case of solid phase it is 90.2 degrees, right? So, and then if you move on further, so that is physical properties of this, what we can say, hydrogen peroxide. If you take, so there are very few physical properties here, so thereby you can easily remember. Physical properties of hydrogen peroxide. So first one is, in pure state it is almost colorless, but in some books it has given very pale blue, right? And then it is miscible in water, and easily form. So can easily form hydrates, that we can represent H2O2 dot H2O. As it is miscible with water, it can form the hydrates, right? So one more important concept what we can discuss here is that, the third point, that is nothing but it is corrosive. Or you can say, what we can say, it is, it causes blisters on skin. It causes blisters on skin, right? I think you've seen this hydrogen peroxide, which will be provided in the first aid boxes, right? Whenever it falls on the, where we are going to apply this hydrogen peroxide, so it is a very good antiseptic, mild antiseptic it is, as well as it is disinfectant too, that we are going to discuss later on. So when there will be wounds and all, if you go for dressing purpose, so they will wash that one with the help of this hydrogen peroxide. When it is poured on the skin, so there will be liberation of gases, right? So that is, it causes blisters on skin, So that is one more property. And then if you come, it is less acidic. It is less acidic in nature. So that means it releases H plus ions, right, to a very small quantity or to a very small extent. So, and one more thing you can write here about the storage of this hydrogen peroxide. That is very important concept here. So you have, I think you have observed, that is in the market you are going to get this hydrogen peroxide in plastic bottles, right? So what is, why they are giving that in the plastic bottles? Because whenever this hydrogen peroxide is exposed to the light, it decomposes. When it is exposed to the light, it decomposes to form what? Water and oxygen. It decomposes to form water and oxygen. If you take 2 here, 2 and then 2 2s are 4, 2 plus 2 4. Okay. So you are going to get like this. So it decomposes to produce water and oxygen. It will undergo decomposition whenever it is exposed to the sunlight or whenever it is come in contact with the glass surface, because the glass surface, glass, you know, they are made up of sodium silicates, that is alkali metal will be there, that will react with that, and that is enough to initiate the reaction. Metal surfaces are enough to initiate the decomposition of this hydrogen peroxide. It is highly unstable. It is highly unstable, that is when it come in contact with the metal surfaces, right, or the alkalis or the sunlight, it will get decomposed to produce water and the oxygen. It will no more be the hydrogen peroxide. So it should be stored in case of what? Plastic bottle. It should be stored in the plastic bottles. Or we can store this one in case of wax lined glass bottles, right? So, and then it can be stored by adding the stabilizers like urea. Urea can be used as a stabilizer to avoid the decomposition of this what? Hydrogen peroxide. Are you getting the concept? Very simple concept. Why the hydrogen peroxide is stored in case of plastic bottles or wax lined glass bottle? Because the hydrogen peroxide is undergo decomposition when it come in contact with the metal surfaces as well as on exposure to the sunlight, right? So that's why it should be stored in case of plastic bottles or wax lined glass bottles. And then for the stability, to maintain the stability or to avoid the decomposition, what we are going to add? We are going to add the urea as the stabilizer, right? So you are going to get this hydrogen peroxide along with the first aid box, right? So if it is not properly stored, so if you open the bottle and keep, then it will get unstabilized. There will be no hydrogen peroxide. What we are having is only water. Then if you add on the wounds and all, there will be no production of what we can say the bubbles, or you can say the gas liberations, that is effervescence likes. So you are going to do effervescence, so like that you are not going to get whenever you add that simply water to the wounds. But whenever it is fresh hydrogen peroxide, if you add, you are going to get effervescence like on the wounds. That helps in the removal of the dirt, or you can say the decayed tissues which are present on the wounds. Right? Because why I am telling this one, if you keep open this hydrogen peroxide bottle, so it will undergo decomposition. That's why it should be properly stored, especially in what? Plastic bottles or the wax lined glass bottle, by adding the suitable stabilizers like the urea, which lowers the decomposition of this hydrogen peroxide. This is the story of this hydrogen peroxide storage. Let us move on to the chemical properties now. I hope you understood the physical properties as well as the storage of this hydrogen peroxide and also the structure of this hydrogen peroxide. Okay, so if you move on to the chemical properties of this hydrogen peroxide. Chemical properties of hydrogen peroxide. Okay, so here hydrogen peroxide is highly reactive in nature because of the less energy required for the breaking of this oxygen-oxygen linkage or peroxo linkage. So it easily involves in the reaction. So out of those, you should know that is a very good oxidizing as well as reducing agent. Very good. Oxidizing as well as reducing agent. Oxidizing as well as reducing agent in both acidic and basic medium. In both the mediums, it acts as very good oxidizing as well as reducing agent. So you should remember here, so as you know that this is the hydrogen peroxide. Here the oxidation number of this oxygen is, in case of this one, it is -1. You know this one. So if you are done with the redox reactions, there you are going to learn that the oxidation number of oxygen is -2, but in case of peroxide it is -1. Remember, this is very important concept. Oxidation number of oxygen in peroxide is -1. You have to remember. And then if you go for hydrogen, it is +1. It is always +1 only, exception it is in case of hydrides. There the oxidation number of hydrogen is -1, but that is not required here. Oxidation number, if it is converted to -1 to -2, we can call this one as what? Reduction. But because there is a decrease in the oxidation number from -1 to -2. If there is the oxidation number is converted to -1 to 0, we can call this one as oxidation because there is increase in the oxidation number. So simply oxidation is increase in the oxidation number, reduction is decrease in the oxidation number. There are so many other definitions, 4 to 5 definitions we can give for this oxidation and reduction. So just remember, very simple, if there is a decrease in the oxidation number, we call that one as reduction, as the name itself indicates. If there is increase in the oxidation number, we can call this one as what? Oxidation. So our hydrogen peroxide also undergo reduction as well as the oxidation. Similarly, if you look at here, so if the hydrogen peroxide is a very good oxidizing agent what should happen? It should reduce itself and oxidizes other. It should reduce itself means to what it is reduced? It reduces to water. Whenever it acts as an oxidizing agent, no. It oxidizes others and itself reduces to water. Very important concept, that is, if it is acting as an oxidant, I will write in here, oxidizing nature of this hydrogen peroxide means it should be converted to what? Water. Oxidation number 1 is -1 here. Oxidation number 1 here is what we can say? It is -2. Oxidation number is -2. Similarly, if it is acting as a reducing agent, so it will be converted to oxygen. It will be get reduced. Reduce means it will get oxidizes and it reduces others. Right? So it oxidizes means the removal of hydrogen. Here you can see that. So oxidation number 1 is -1. It is 0. Right? It oxidizes oxygen. It reduces to water. If it is acting as a oxidizing, don't get confused. Oxidizing agent means itself reduces, oxidizes others. Itself reduces, oxidizes others. Itself reduces means it is converted to water, -1 to -2. There is a decrease in the oxidation number. Reducing agent means what? Reducing agent means itself oxidizes, reduces others. Itself oxidizes, reduces others. You observe here, itself oxidizes means there should be increase in the oxidation number. What is oxidation number? -1. What has been it is converted to? That is 0. Right? -1 is bigger or 0 is bigger? 0 is bigger. There is an increase in the oxidation number. right? So then further, if you take here, let me explain with the help of reaction. That is a common story. You have to remember it acts as both oxidizing as well as reducing agent. Let us discuss one by one. The first reaction what we can have, oxidizing action in acidic medium. Oxidizing action in acidic medium. Acidic medium. Okay, so it oxidizes ferrous, that is Fe2 plus. So in the acid medium to ferric Fe3 plus, and itself get reduced to water. Itself get reduced to water. That is right. So it is aqueous. It is also aqueous, is hydrogen peroxide, gaseous state. It is aqueous, it is nothing but the liquid water. You look at this reaction. In the reaction you can see that the ferrous ion has been oxidized to ferric. Because it is an oxidizing action, it is oxidizing others, reduced itself to what? Water. I already told, oxidizing nature means itself reduced to water. Whatever it may be the reaction, whether it is an acid medium or basic medium, oxidizing means what is the oxidized product of what you can say that is hydrogen or what we can say, what is the product when this hydrogen peroxide acts as an oxidizing agent? It reduces to water. That you have to remember. Okay, so which is get oxidizing here? Ferrous is converted to ferric. +2 is converted to +3. There is increase in the oxidation number. Likewise, you can have one more example. If you take lead sulfide, PbS, lead sulfide, and if you made to react with the what? This hydrogen peroxide, H2O2, so it will be converted into lead sulfate, PbSO4, and water itself will be converted, that is hydrogen peroxide will be converted to water. This is the reaction what we can see. Sulfide is converted to sulfate. What it is? It is sulfide. Lead sulfide. Right? It is converted into lead sulfate. Lead sulfate. So this is one more reaction where we can see that, so it oxidizes what? Lead sulfide to lead sulfate and itself reduced to water. So this reaction shows that so our hydrogen peroxide is a very good oxidizing agent in acidic medium. Understood this concept? So likewise, let us move on to the what reducing action in acidic medium. This is what we can say oxidizing. Likewise, if you move on to the reducing nature of this what hydrogen peroxide, as I said in the beginning itself, what is that? It acts as both oxidizing as well as the reducing agent, right? So let us know how it acts as a what? That is the second one, reducing action. Reducing action in the acid medium. You can have a simple example of potassium permanganate, that is nothing but KMnO4, or simply we are writing the ionic reaction means MnO4 minus plus 6H plus hydrogen peroxide. If you take, that is nothing but H2O2, you can have 2Mn2 plus 8H2O plus 5O2 you are going to get. What is this? We are showing the reducing nature of this hydrogen peroxide in the acidic medium. I am discussing the oxidizing and reducing in case of acidic medium. Then I am going to discuss about oxidizing and reducing in the basic medium. Right? So we are discussing only about the acidic medium. Look at this one. The permanganate has been converted into manganate. So if you observe this one, oxidation number of this Mn is +7 and it has been converted to +2. +7 has been converted to +2. What is the meaning of this? Oxidation number has been decreased. Right? It is undergoing reduction. Who is reducing this one? Hydrogen peroxide. What happens to the hydrogen peroxide? Itself get oxidized. because it is acting as now what? Reducing agent that reduces others and oxidizes itself. How come? Oxidation number 1 is -1, oxidation number is 0. Second category of reaction. Observe or remember that whenever hydrogen peroxide acts as an oxidizing agent, it oxidizes other and reduces itself to water. Product will be water. Similarly, whenever hydrogen peroxide acts as a reducing agent, what you have to remember? It reduces others and oxidizes itself to oxygen. What is the product you are going to get here? Oxygen. Okay, so one more example they have given, that is hypochlorous acid, that is HOCl. If it is subjected or if you need to react with the hydrogen peroxide, so it will be converted into, so H3O plus Cl minus plus O2 plus O2. Right, look at this reaction. Yes, it has been balanced. Here hypochlorous acid has been reduced to chloride, that is Cl minus, because here the oxidation number of this chlorine is +1, here it is nothing but -1. It is -1, right? So and then if you look at this hydrogen peroxide, so it has been oxidized to oxygen, because oxidation number 1 -1, oxidation number is 0, both are same. So in both the cases, so it is reducing others and oxidizes itself to oxygen. That's what we can say. It acts as very good oxidizing as well as reducing agents in acidic medium. This is the story in case of acidic medium. Yes, note down. So this is very important here. So it is oxidation number has been decreased from +7 to +2. Oxidation number has been increased from -1 to 0. That's why it is a reducing agent. Similarly, oxidation number is +1, oxidation number 1 is -1. That is where we have to observe in case of chloride. Hypochlorous acid has been converted into chloride and hydrogen peroxide has been converted to what? Oxygen. Likewise, we are having one more concept, that is in case of basic nature, oxidizing as well as reducing property in case of basic medium, right? So oxidizing action, that is you can have the third category, oxidizing action in basic medium. Very good example. Same you can have the iron example. Yes, 2Fe2 plus H2O2 gives rise to 2Fe3 plus here what you are going to get? 2OH minus, or you can write water also. The same reaction. Ferrous ion is converted into ferric ion. So what is this action? Oxidation number has been increased. So that means to say it acts as an oxidizing agent. Its oxidation number has been decreased. Right? So that is it is undergoing reduction and oxidizes other, that is a reaction. And one more example you can have, Mn2 plus manganese, when it is made to react with the hydrogen peroxide, so it will form into permanganate, that is manganate, that is +4, it is +4 plus 2OH minus, or water you can simply write. So you can see here oxidation number of this Mn is +2 and it is +4. That means oxidation number has been increased, oxidation number has been decreased. So in this example also what? So it acts as an oxidizing agent in case of basic medium. Similarly, if you move on to the reducing action in case of this basic medium. So simple example we can take iodine plus H2O2 plus no need to mention, basic medium means OH minus. So iodine is converted into iodide. Iodine has been converted to iodide. Then 2H2O plus O2. Hydrogen itself undergo oxidation to form O2. So now hydrogen peroxide is undergoing oxidation and then iodine is undergoing reduction. See, the oxidation number is 0 elemental state, oxidation number is -1 in case of this iodide. Right, what happened? So 0 to -1, there is a reduction in the oxidation number, that means to so it is undergoing reduction. What about this one? Oxidation number is -1, and what about the oxidation number here is 0. It is undergoing oxidation. That's why it is what? Reducing agent in this example, which oxidizes itself and reduces others. So one more example they have given with reference to this permanganate only. Minus, if you take this hydrogen peroxide H2O2, so what is the products you are going to get? 2MnO2 plus can have 3O2 plus 2H2O plus 2OH minus. 2OH minus. Look at this product. Look at this product. So in case of reducing action, you are going to get oxygen. In case of oxidizing action, what you are going to get? You are going to get water. That is important, right? So here, in case of this one also, what is that is basic medium also, our what hydrogen peroxide acts as a oxidizing as well as reducing agent. Totally we can say that hydrogen peroxide is a very good oxidizing as well as reducing agent in case of both what acid as well as the basic medium. That's why it is very important chemical. In the beginning itself I told it is very important chemical both domestically as well as industrially. Let us know that is about the uses of this hydrogen peroxide. Uses of hydrogen peroxide. Just you can have the note of this uses of this hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide uses. Okay, so it can be used as an antiseptic. Like you are going to use Dettol and all, no? Like that hydrogen peroxide can be used as a antiseptic, which is I think is found in the name perhydrol, right? So and then it is a mild antiseptic, disinfectant. You should know the difference between the antiseptic and disinfectant. One is applied for the living tissues, one is applied for the non-living tissues like cleaning and all, right? So similarly, you can have that is a very good bleaching agent. Hydrogen peroxide is a very good bleaching agent, right? So you can use this one for bleaching of hairs, silk, okay, delicate atoms like silk, etc. The atoms can be bleached with the help of this hydrogen peroxide. Similarly, it is also used in the preparation of or you can say is a very good green chemical. What we can say, it is a good green chemical. So you know nowadays there is a new branch of chemistry that is called as the green chemistry. So there for many reactions, especially you are going to get bleaching powder means chlorine. Chlorine it will cause maximum environmental pollution, right? But if you use this hydrogen peroxide as the bleaching agent, you can avoid the pollution because it is a green chemical. So you can have one simple example, that is if you take ethene and if you react with the bromine in the presence of ethanol, so what is the product you are going to get? You are going to get CH3, that is CH2Br, single bond, CH2Br, 1,2-dibromoethane. Double bond has been converted into single bond. Just a simple addition reaction that takes place in the presence of ethanol. Okay, the same reaction you can conduct with the presence of hydrogen peroxide also. But the thing is, you are not going to take bromine. In place of that, we are going to take the HBr. So what the product you are going to get? That is CH2Br, same product, CH2Br. So what is the difference between these two? So here ethanol, it will cause the pollution, but your hydrogen peroxide, it will minimize the pollution, right? It is pollution free. That's why you can use this hydrogen peroxide as a what we can say as a green chemical, and is hydrogen peroxide is used in the synthesis of many of the detergent compounds, compounds also, that is because of its bleaching action. So if you take the bleaching action, just we can represent a simple reaction. If you take a colored substance, then if you need to react with hydrogen peroxide, what we call this one as nascent oxygen. Where you are going to get this one? From the hydrogen peroxide. So it will be converted into colorless. This is one more simple and important reaction to show the bleaching action of hydrogen peroxide. So colored substance will be converted into colorless, right, because of its oxidizing nature. That is one more important concept. So these are all the important concepts with reference to what this hydrogen peroxide. So in the next class we are going to discuss about the that is volume strength of hydrogen peroxide, and a very small concept, this is dihydrogen as a fuel and its economy. Okay, thank you.